We celebrate the feast of St. Blaise today, and in churches throughout the world, candles will be presented to people's throat and a very special prayer of intercession through St. Blaise. Sometimes when we think of the saints, we get mixed up that the saints are really people who have made it. They're one with God. A few years back when I was teaching at a secular university and religion class, many of the non-Catholics would always ask me as a professor, why do you Catholics worship statues? I said, well, that's not what we do. And I asked them, do you have pictures of your grandparents in the house? And they say, yeah. I said, well, do you have pictures of your grandparents on the mantelpiece or on the wall? And they would say, yeah, we have pictures. I said, well, why are they up there? Well, they came over from the old country on the boat and had no money, and they're the matriarch or the patriarch of the family. I said, well, that's what saints are to Catholics. They're people who made it, just like you and me, people who were ordinary, but because of their relationship with God, they made it to heaven. So pictures and statues of saints remind us that simple and everyday and ordinary folks can do amazing things if they're open to God's Spirit in their lives. Our first reading today said, hope never disappoints. What a great line from St. Paul. Hope never disappoints. And that's what the saints show us, that many of the saints in the early church died for the faith as martyrs. And then a bit later on, the saints were noted because of their great love for those on the fringes of society, the poor, the widow, the alien, immigrants. And then a bit further on, saints were proclaimed because they were founders of religious communities of men and women. And then very, very later, because of their great writings, in their teachings, in their theology. So saints are people who have made it. They are one with God. And saints give us hope. Good theology about saints and good theology about Mary always points us back to Jesus. If it's not pointing to Jesus, if it's not saying, no, it's through Jesus' power, then we're on a shaky road. Because good saints and the good study of Mary, Mariology, always points us back to Jesus. For the saints' lives, Jesus was the center. For the saints, Jesus was their whole being. Jesus was the reason why they cared for the poor, why they went off and proclaimed and preached and went into foreign lands. The saints had such a relationship with the Lord that they were spurred on to do great actions. And sometimes we can't go to foreign lands. Sometimes, maybe because of our mobility issues, we can't go great distances. So what do saints teach us? To pray. Our patron saint of Catholic TV, St. Teresa of the Little Flower, was in a monastery. And yet she became the patron saint for missionaries. For missionaries. Because she said, do all actions with great love. Do the smallest actions with the greatest amount of love. And in that, we see in St. Teresa, the Little Flower, that her sainthood spurs us on to do simple actions with great love. So as we celebrate this day of St. Blaise, we think of Bishop, Martyr, 4th century. Since the 4th century, the church has been recognizing the great work of St. Blaise. And because of his intercession, the church saw that, yes, he's one to turn to in sickness and asking God, through Jesus, help in healing of body, mind, and soul. The great reading we have from the gospel today shows Jesus' commissioning of his 11 to go forth and proclaim, to go forth and witness. And those 11 we celebrate throughout the year. Usually we celebrate the feast of an apostle, usually one a month if you really look at it. In the lectionary and the liturgical cycle, we usually have one apostle per month that we celebrate. In most days in the liturgical calendar, we do have many saints that remind us simple acts of ordinary work done with great love can be transforming. So this day, despite maybe limited mobility, despite maybe we are not writing great books on theology, or not founding religious communities, we can do great things like the saints, to do small, ordinary actions with great love. And as we think of the saints, people who have made it with God, we too want to be like them, that because of our relationship with Jesus, we can do extraordinary things, small works of charity done with great love.